Hello, how are you today? I hope you're doing well. Today is our second lesson in New Headway course. As you remember, we got to know in the last class Teresa and Tyler. Tyler was away from home in London, staying with a British family for a while. He found some things weird about London, different cultural differences related to the language, related to the traditions, and also somehow to road rules. Like, they to him they drive on the wrong side of the road. They say flat to apartments, things like that. Okay. The second person who was away from home was Teresa. Teresa was in Tanzania. She wrote an email to her parents telling them about what she found weird, strange, and unusual in Tanzania. First, she didn't like the hot weather. It was so hot. The only cool time was in the morning when she starts her job or her work. The second thing she found strange about Tanzania is like the piki, which is a very small motorbike used by the locals to move on bumpy roads there to go to school or to move around. Her letter or her email to her parents was informal. Now we should know that in informal letters or languages to friends or to parents, we somehow drop the subject, somehow we drop the auxiliary from our sentences. In her email, as you can see, like in the picture, we have different examples of not using the subject or the auxiliary. I'm not gonna tell you about all of them. Okay, it's I don't know if you revised the email or if you read the email, but I'm not gonna spend all the time like reading the email and giving you examples. I will say only 2 or 3 examples. She started her email by saying like, "Thanks for yours, always love news from home." And this sentence must be, "I always love news from home," but it's fine to say it like this. Also, we have another example. "Wish we had air conditioning and not just 2 rubbish fans." Rubbish means like not good, okay? She mean here, I wish we had, okay? Let me go to the end of her letter or her email. She said it's been that's it for now. Missing you millions. Missing you means like I am, okay, or I'm missing you. Can't wait, I cannot wait, or I can't wait. And also, again, as I said, you can have different examples. Please try to find them and read it again. And our second lesson is, after the email, after Teresa's email, we have, by the way, she had a lovely time in Tanzania, if you remember the activities, and she used a lot the present perfect, talking about present, because I'm going to explain it on the board now, because the second lesson is all about the grammar, differentiate between grammar, tenses, and different things, okay? Talking about grammar, it's very important to differentiate between tenses, to know how to use them. It's so crucial, let me say, in Headway, and in New Headway, like they talked a lot about the grammar, so you will find a lot of grammar and how to apply it in our speech in every lesson, okay? And when it comes to explaining grammar, I'm gonna do it on board, because I think it's my idea that it's very important to explain it on board, okay? Here, Teresa used a lot of present perfect. Why present perfect? When we talk about experiences and the action is more important than the time the experience or the events happened in, we go to present perfect. It's very important. And as I said, like, okay, talking about tenses, guys, when I talk about present perfect, I mean I've been there before. This is an example. Okay, I have been there before. Have plus past participle. Okay, and past participle, you know that we have regular verbs and irregular verbs. You can check them from the internet. You can have, actually you can have a list of irregular verbs, okay, including like eat, ate, eaten, okay, see, saw, seen. I'm sure you know them, so I don't have to repeat them. If you don't, please check them on the internet. You can have the list in every grammar lesson. Okay, this is talking about present perfect. So if I'm talking about experiences again, I'm going to say I have tried sushi. This is one example. Okay, I can say I haven't been to China. This is another one. I've climbed Mount Fuji, for instance. Okay, this is another example. So, like, these are experiences. The action or the event is much more important than the time it happened. Because of that, we tend to go to present perfect, as Dara said it here in her email. Okay, now let's go to the second page. In the second page, we're going to talk about tenses. Okay. Yep. But here we're talking about passive and active. Talking about passive and active is not easy. And to talk about passive and active, we need to know to make a revision of different tenses. Okay? So let's go to the revision of different tenses. And then we will go to differentiate between active sentence and passive sentence. Let me start with simple present. Okay? Or when I say I live in Paris. Okay? I live in Paris, live here. This is a kind of fact, general statement. Okay? So I tend to use, simple present. It's not something like, as I said, a fact or a general statement. Of course, when I go to the subject she, I have to write lives. Okay? I'm sure you know that. Okay? Let's go to the second present tense, which is present continuous. When I say, I'm writing now. I'm writing now. This is another present sentence, but present continuous because it's happening at the moment of speaking now, or, it's, let me say, for short time. Okay? The third sentence, I have, or I've been to China, since everybody's speaking about China now. I've been to China. No, I haven't, by the way. Okay, I've been to China. This been means like I went and I'm back. Okay? This is like to let you know the difference between I've been and I've gone to China. Okay? So, I've been to China, I went there, and I'm back. Okay? But when I say I've gone to China, I'm still there. Okay? So this is like talking about present tenses now. Fine? I think it's clear. Let's go to talk about, past ones. Okay. We all know that present perfect happened in the past. Okay? It's an action that happened in the past. But somehow it's related to the present, or the result is now in the present. So it's important to know, that the time is of the action is not important. Because of that, it's related to the present. Because of that, it happened in the past, not finished, maybe finished. We will check this, but the time is not important. I lived in Paris. This is a past sentence. Let me say in 2000. Okay? Definite time. Completed action. In and year. So this is like completed action in the past. I just need the verb plus ed if it's regular. If it's irregular, you know the list. I already told you about the list. We have a list of irregular verbs. You need to find them, memorize them, and practice using them, because practice is the only way that can help you to remember them or to memorize them. Fine? Okay, this is talking about simple past, and I'm sure you know how to make the negative. You know, don't you? Okay, I'm writing now. As I already told you, this is present continuous. I was writing emails. I will write 2 examples about past continuous here to give you an idea why we use them, okay? Yesterday at 6 o'clock. The other example, I was writing emails when you called me. The first one, I was writing emails yesterday at 6 o'clock. So yesterday at 6 o'clock, I have this definite time. This action, writing emails, was in progress. It was happening. Okay? So I write was, or verb to be, plus verb plus ing. Okay? This is to talk about past continuous, because at this time, yesterday, at this definite time, yesterday, the action was in progress. It was happening. It started earlier, but at 6, it was still happening. Okay? I was writing emails when you called me. Here we have 2 actions. Which one happened before? What do you think? Which one happened before? Was it the call or writing the emails? Which one happened before? Yeah, that's correct. The one that happened before was writing emails, and calling interrupted. So I have an action which started earlier. The action was in progress. Okay? Calling interrupted the action. So the first one is past continuous, which is was writing. The second one must be simple past, which is called. Okay? Like my mom was cooking when my dad arrived. Okay? Let me say, I can use different questions, okay? It started raining. It started raining when I was walking in the park. Okay, this is another example. Good? And we do have a lot of things, like the first one happened earlier, the second one interrupted it. Okay? This is an example of, past and past continuous. When you get confused between past simple and past continuous, you should try to figure out, to think of the sentence. Which action happened before, which one interrupted or came later. Okay? So here, I think this is clear. Now, let's move to talk about present perfect. Ready? Okay. Talking about present perfect, and most students say, this is a confusing one. but it's actually a common one, okay? Its usage is very, very common. So, talking about present perfect. I have lived in Paris. I lived in Paris in 2000. Check these two sentences. I have lived in Paris. I lived in Paris in 2000. Okay? Because I have definite time, I use simple past. So this is the key. Definite time, simple past. Simple past means the second form of the verb. The second form of the verb is ed if it's regular, and you know the form if it's not regular or if it's irregular. Okay, definite time. When I say definite time, I mean like this to mention the year or the time, or when I use the word ago, when I use the word yesterday, when I use the word last. Got it? I know like you might all know this, but I need to revise before we go into passive. Okay? The second sentence, I have lived in Paris. I don't have any definite time in this sentence. It's not important. The experience is what matters here. Okay? So, talking about present perfect, we use have or has, depends on the subject, plus past participle. And don't get confused between present perfect and simple past. Both of them happen in the past, but here we have definite time, here we don't. Okay? Here it's a completed action, here it might not be. Okay? So like this is like when we talk about present perfect and simple past. Also, students get confused when we talk about present perfect, past simple and past perfect. Okay, let's talk about them. They are not that difficult. Look, let me imagine that I have a timeline. You know timeline, right? Okay, this is a timeline. And this is now. Okay? Here, because this is now, everything happens here is past, right? Okay. An action that happens here is simple past, let me say. Okay? Any action that happens earlier or before this is past perfect. Am I speaking Chinese to you? I mean, like you don't understand when I say this sentence, okay? Past perfect. Let me talk. I had tidied the flat. I had tidied the flat. This is a past, past perfect. Had plus verb 3, which is like past participle, but we call it verb 3 or form 3, okay? Had plus past participle. Fine? But when they arrived, which action happened before? Did they arrive first, or did I tidy up the flat or tidy the flat? Which one happened before? For sure, the one that happens first, the first action, is past perfect. The second one that follows or followed is past simple. Okay? Do you want another example? Why not? talk about this sentence. I will give you the sentence like, we had left the party by the time they arrived. Did we see them? No, because we first left and then they arrived. First action, the second action. By the way, I can say they arrived to the party by the time we had left. Okay? It's not when or where we put the verb in the sentence. No, I'm talking about the what time or which one happened first. Not in the sentence, not to arrange them in the sentence. No, I'm talking about time. Okay, which one happened first? So if the first one, the had left, happened first, okay, so it must be past perfect. The second one, simple past. It's not where we put them in the sentence, it's about which one happened first. Okay? I think this is clear. I talked now about present and past. And I didn't talk about future, so we need to talk about future a little bit. Talking about future, it's easy. First, we're going to use will here, okay? I'm going to talk about will. Look at these three sentences. I will read a book tomorrow. Okay? I will read. So I used here will plus verb 1 or the first form of the verb or infinitive. Okay? You can call it whatever you want. I will read a book tomorrow. The second thing is, or the second form, this is a simple future, by the way, sentence, simple future sentence, which is will and the verb. The second sentence is, which is very, I will be reading a book tomorrow, okay? I have a specific time. So tomorrow at 6 o'clock, the action will be happening, okay? It will be in progress at this time. So this is what we call future continuous, okay? This is what we call future continuous. Let me say, if I'm doing this every day at 6, or let me say like at 5 to 7, I read a book from 5 to 7 every day. Okay? So tomorrow at 6, I will be reading. Okay? Let me say at 8. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock, I will have read a book. Got it? Okay, by 8 o'clock I will have finished the activity. So this is finished one. Finished activity. I use Since it's finished, I use will plus have plus verb 3. Finished action in the future. Okay? But when it comes, let me go back to this sentence. Okay? At 6 o'clock, it's not finished yet. It's tomorrow. So tomorrow future, but it's not finished. So I must be using continuous. Okay? Or I must use continuous. Which is like, I will be reading a book tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Clear? I hope it's clear. Okay. Now, I think I made a kind of revision for all the tenses. I will go now to talk about passive. Most students find passive very difficult. Why? Because they don't know the form. Okay. I will try to make it clear in a way that I will write the active sentence and the passive sentence. The active sentence with its form and the passive sentence with its form. Why passive? Passive is very important. It's very used. And actually, it's very common to be used in English more than in Arabic, okay? In Arabic, we use it a little bit in the news and reports and the newspapers and TV news. But in English, it's used more in any report, in business report, in any kind of report. Business report, let me talk about economy report, whatever, news. It's very common in rules and regulations also. It's used, not like in Arabic. So we need to talk, if you need to use English very well, you need to know the passive. Okay, so let's talk about passive. I will write the active sentence first. I'm going to the regular way, the way you understand it. Okay. Let's talk now about passive. The first active sentence is, this is the first active sentence. I go to school every day. I go to school every day. This is the first sentence. We need to make it passive. How can we make it passive? First, I have a subject and the verb, preposition, and we continue the sentence, the completion of the sentence. How can I make this sentence passive? We started with the subject, right? And second, the verb, and here. Can you help me make it passive? I don't think you can help me because it's impossible to make it passive sentence. Okay? Why? Because I have no object. So the key of using passive is object. Object means like I eat an apple. Apple is the object. I eat what? The apple. The apple is the object. Okay? So, this sentence cannot, no passive here, cannot be put in passive form. Okay? So we agreed on one thing, that we need an object. I already gave you a sentence, right? Which is like, I eat an apple every day. I don't care. Subject, verb, object. Okay? Subject, verb, object. Got it, right? Okay. If I'm talking about this, how can I, this is like an active sentence, right? We call it active. Regular sentence. It starts with a subject. To make it passive, let's let the object walk from this position or side to be in the beginning of the sentence. Okay? So with the article, it accompanies. Okay? So here we have an okay? An apple, then an apple what? This sentence in present, right? Simple present. We already mentioned that. So since it's in present, I say an apple is. Okay, you will say like, we don't have verb to be here. Yes, I agree, we don't have verb to be. But let's put is first and then we will talk why we put it here. Is eaten by blah blah blah. I mean the subject, of course, but we put it at the end using by phrase. Okay? So, an apple is eaten. Object, now it's like it plays the role of a subject. Object, verb to be, verb 3, or past participle of the verb. Okay? So this is the object with its article. Verb to be plus verb 3, as we mentioned, or I can say past participle. Okay? This is how we make present passive in present. Clear? Okay? So the key is when I talk about passive, when I'm talking about passive, the key is verb to be. It's a must. Okay? Verb to be is a must plus verb 3. The verb to be changes, depending on the tense of the sentence. We will check how we change verb to be in each sentence. Okay? I hope you got this clear because I need to clear it. Got it? Okay. We agreed first. Okay, I'm gonna repeat this quickly. We agreed first on like the first sentence cannot be in passive because we have no object. So the key is using an object. Okay. Passive means like verb to be, and of course with verb to be I need an object, okay? I go to school every day cannot be in passive. I eat an apple. So this is an active sentence and this is a passive sentence. The active sentence starts with a subject, which is I, we, he, she. It could be, a noun, pronoun, whatever. I eat an apple, active, subject, verb, object, okay? To change it from active into passive, I need to change. I need to go to take the object and put it in the beginning of the sentence. Okay? If it has an article, I need to change to move the article also. Like if it's an apple, some apples, okay, no apples, so I need it. And we put it in the beginning of the sentence to start like this. An apple is eaten by. When the subject is a pronoun, we don't have by phrase. We don't need it, okay? But again here, because of that, I didn't complete it. But if I say Mark eats an apple every day, okay? So an apple is eaten by Mark every day. If the subject is important to be mentioned, okay? This is the idea of passive. Let me clear it, and then we will talk about how verb to be changes in different tenses and how to keep its form and how to change it. First, I'm going to talk about passive in the present. Passive in the present. Okay. All right. Active. Okay, active. Passive. Simple present. Okay? Then, let me start with the sentence. I will keep the same sentence, guys, because you will see how we change the same sentence, the same example in each tense, okay? So, let me start with Mark. eats an apple every day. Okay, Mark eats an apple every day. This is the sentence. Second sentence, as we said, like it starts with the subject plus verb plus object. Here we have to change it into the passive. As we said, we take the object and put it in the beginning of the sentence. So, an apple is, verb to be, simple present, is eaten by Mark. Object plus verb to be plus verb 3. Verb to be in the present is what? Is are, right? But of course here we cannot use am. So verb to be in the present could be it or are, because the sentence is simple present. An apple is eaten. If it's plural, I can say some apples are eaten. Great? Okay, this is the idea of simple present. Now, let's go to present continuous. How can we change it into present continuous? Again, active, passive. Let's talk about active sentence. I will say, in present continuous, of course. And passive in present continuous, the same tense. Mark is eating an apple now. Where's the object? The object is an apple. Where to take it? To the beginning. An apple. Verb to be is. But I already have verb to be here. How can you change it? It changes after to be being. Okay? An apple is being eaten by Mark. Okay? So an apple is being eaten. I have the object plus verb to be plus being, and this is fixed, plus verb 3. Okay? This is the idea of passive in present continuous. Got it? I don't think it's difficult, is it? Here we have subject, verb to be, verb ing. Verb plus ing because it's present continuous, okay? But here, because it's impassive, and we need to keep the continuous form, so we say an apple is being eaten. Okay? That's good. Any question? I don't think you have any question, but in case you have any question about this, please send it in a comment. Now, we talked about present simple and present continuous. How we change a sentence in present continuous into passive, and how we change a sentence in simple past, simple present, into continuous. Let's move to, we have present perfect, okay? I will change the present perfect sentence. Okay, so active sentence in present continuous. Present perfect, sorry. I hope this is not boring. I know it, like when it comes to grammar, it's boring, but I cannot, deny that we need it so much, especially if I'm talking about passive, okay? Mark has eaten, okay, an apple. Mark has eaten an apple. Of course, I have to drop every day. Mark has eaten an apple, okay? As we can see here, we have the subject. We have has or have, depends on the subject, plus verb 3. In passive, must be an apple. An apple is has, right? And I need verb to be. Verb to be after has is been. Okay? An apple has been eaten. An apple has been eaten. So I need the object plus has or have plus been, and it's fixed one, plus verb 3 or past participle. Is it clear? So this is the idea. Mark has eaten an apple. This is the active sentence. We change it. We take the object from here. We put it in the beginning of the sentence. An apple has been eaten. Sometimes it's hard to determine the object. Okay, sometimes we have two objects, and now after that I will mention a sentence in case I have a sentence with two objects. Okay. This is like present perfect. I will go to a sentence which in the past. Okay, so here we mentioned all the sentences related to all the tenses related to the present. Now let's move to the past sentence and past statements. Okay, it's not going to be that difficult. Just when you know the form, it's going to be a piece of cake, which is easy. Okay, a piece of cake to do this. And again, I'm so sorry. I need you for my tired voice, but I have flu, so sorry. Okay. I feel like, out of breath most of the time. Okay, so let's talk about past, passive in the past, okay? Simple past, okay? Active, passive. Also, active, passive. Past continuous. Active, passive. Okay. Past simple, or in the past, all of it in the past. Past simple, active sentence. Mark ate an apple. Verb, or the second form of the verb, okay, or we call it verb 2 sometimes. Passive, object to the beginning. An apple, okay. I need verb to be. Verb to be in the past is was and were, okay. An apple was. Verb 3 from eat, eaten. An apple was eaten by Mark. Okay, this is the sentence. An apple was eaten by Mark. Object, verb to be in the past, verb 3. Let's move to past continuous. The same sentence. Mark, was eating an apple. For instance, when I called, do you remember when I said like when have two options, one interrupted the other? Okay. Mark was eating an apple when I called. So here in passive, the object, okay, and apple an apple, verb to be, was. Okay? And I need verb to be also in continuous situation. Being, eaten. The form here, object, was or were, because it's verb to be in the past, plus being. So being is fixed, plus verb 3. Okay? This is the idea, past continuous, active sentence, passive sentence. Great? Okay. Now let's move to past perfect is the same situation, okay? So if I say to you, Mark had eaten an apple. Mark had eaten an apple, okay? Object, an apple. An apple. Again, had must be down. Had. Verb 3 from be is been, because after have, has, and had, I need verb to be in the third form, which is been. Had been eaten by Mark. Okay, so in this sentence, as I mentioned, this is like passive in the past. We still have the future, and we're done. So I'm so sorry for being, for making it very long. Okay. Now let's talk about this. Let's start with future, and I hope this is going to give you a clear idea. Look, if you follow me with this, and if you practice using them many times, the second session is going to be much easier, much more easier, okay? Because we're going to talk about passive and to differentiate between active sentence and passive sentence. So it's not gonna be that easy if you don't make a kind of revision for tenses and passive and active forms, okay? Ready to talk about the future? It's easy. Future and modals like should, can, could, may, might, all of these modals, okay, how to use passive with them. Future. By the way, I can talking about future, I can use will and going to, okay? I didn't mention going to before, but this is another class, or another rule to talk about the difference between going to and will. Quickly I can mention this, like going to for plans, will for spontaneous actions or, decisions of the moment, okay? So Mark, this is active sentence, and this is passive. Mark will eat an apple. Mark will eat an apple, okay? This is active. The passive, of course, I have subject, plus I have will, plus verb 1, right? Okay? Now we are going to talk about, again, the object to be put in the beginning, okay? An apple will, because to know if it's a future, okay? An apple will be, because be after will keeps its infinitive form, okay? An apple will be eaten. So here we have object, we have will, we have be, plus verb 3 or past participle. Okay? So here we talked about, future. Talking about going to, okay, Mark is going to eat an apple. Okay? An apple is going to be eaten by Mark. Is going to be eaten by Mark. Okay? This one, I think it's easy because after going to, I need verb to be in its base form or infinitive form. Okay, guys? Good. With modals, let me say this orally. Mark can eat an apple. An apple can be eaten. Okay? Mark should eat an apple every day. An apple should be eaten every day. Okay? Mark might eat an apple every day. An apple might be eaten every day. Simply, okay? So after will, could, make, can, might, have to, has to, whatever, we use be plus verb 3. Should be eaten, must be eaten, might be eaten, can be eaten, could be eaten, have to be eaten, has to be eaten. Okay, so this is passive with modals, and the future, of course, if we are using will or going to. Good? Yeah, this is the idea. In case we have two objects, how can we make it? Actually, we can make it in two ways. Okay, look at this sentence. Look at these two sentences, sorry. Come on. Mark sent, this is past, sent me a letter. Object, object. Okay? I have two. He sent who? Me. What? A letter. Okay? So here I can use it in two ways. I have 1, 2. Okay? This is the first, was sent a letter. I was sent a letter here because, of course, why was? Because the sentence in simple past. Okay? Simple past. Sent, I was sent. I is the object. Was, because the sentence is in simple past and in passive. Simple past and passive. Simple past, that means I need verb to be in the past. Verb to be in the past is was and where. I was sent. This is verb 3, a letter. Okay? Or I can use it with the second object. A letter was sent to me. See? Both are correct. Both. Okay? So here, when I have two objects, I can make the sentence, the passive in two ways. Okay? The first one, I was sent a letter was sent to me. It's the same like he gave me a present. He gave me a present. I was given a present was given to me. Okay? So here when we are talking about a sentence that has two objects. Good? Okay. And we are done. That was our session for today about grammar. First we had a kind of revision of all the tenses that we might talk about or use. Second, we talked about passive and active, the difference between passive and active. why we use this and why we use this, which is more common in our language and foreign language. So here, I hope it was very useful for you. I hope I made it clear, easier, and more. Let me say more. For you, more comfortable to be used by you. Okay. So this is my session for today. Thank you very much. Thank you for following me. If you have any questions, please, and comments, please send them. Next class we are going to continue with our PDF and our class because the first, as you saw, the first page is going to be about using passive and active. I decided to make a whole session to differentiate between passive and active sentence in order to be comfortable when we are talking about the second page. Thank you very much. Stay home these days. Stay safe and see you next class. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day.